In Chapter 7, Trust Issues, our friends try to get comfortable among the elite at the wine tasting. Graven maintains his persona as a mute kitchen worker.
A couple of more minutes, and we can change this one out.
Smells good.
He speaks. Oh.
Who also speaks sometimes. Safira narrowly avoids revealing her identity to Massif, an attendee that is known to be searching for the AWOL Ka'ira soldier.
If you don't mind me saying, you don't hold yourself like a sommelier. You hold yourself more like a soldier. Would I be incorrect in assuming you've had some military training?
I'm just new.
My mistake.
Safira also juggles Erland's endless harassment, who keeps flagging her down for an additional pour of wine and wholesome bickering.
Top of the glass, please, ma'am.
After we get out of here, I'm going to murder you in your sleep.
When not triggering Safira, Erland introduces himself to several guests, but is obstructed by the very tiefling our friends were told to meet, Armand Valliard.
And what is your reason for being here, Mr. Valliard?
I'm always here to meet someone new, so you can imagine my excitement.
Seems like I have become your reason for being here.
Isn't that perfect?
With intentions unknown, Armand pressures Erland to meet him in Armand's private sitting room in the most fabulous way.
I encourage you to quietly bring any of your companions along as well, so that I may meet them. Perhaps the halfling with a dress that looks like a bejeweled bedsheet. Or even the other half-elf who wields a wine bottle as one would a cudgel. Other faces that I do not recognize.
Oh my god.
That seems fair.
Before being herded by Erland, Beezaura, in her bedsheet, discusses possible work with Iris, a real estate mogul that is always looking for a bit of extra muscle.
And sometimes I'm looking for mediators to make sure that these things run smoothly, because it's quite a bit of money, as you can imagine.
I could see that.
So sometimes if one feels that they've made the best offer and I feel like I've changed my mind...
You need someone to step in.
To mediate, yes.
These two ladies make an appointment to discuss their transaction later in the evening, so Beezaura may accompany Erland and Safira to Armand's room, where the three squabble about the state of play.
I believe we can say we were hired by Jillian.
We needed to ask him anyway about her.
I don't like this either, but I don't know what else to do.
I think we should all just stay calm until we realize what he wants.
Yes, let's stay perfectly calm.
Meanwhile, Graven and Orba are tasked with retrieving more casks of wine from the basement. There, Graven locks eyes with Winston, the man responsible for the Knoll attack a few days before. Winston immediately gathers reinforcements.
Lock it down! And in an instant, the room begins to blur a little bit. The men in the room start to blur, as if you've kind of crossed your eyes, but the room remains in focus. And there's sort of a flickering until their form changes from men to gnolls. And they...
While Graven and Orba find themselves up against four gnolls and the alchemist Winston, Beezaura, Safira, and Erland discover they're not waiting for Armand alone.
And the suit of armor that was on display reaches to its left and picks up a helmet that was on the table. And there is no head, but it reaches up as if a head and places the helmet on its shoulders.
Separated, yet sentimentally together, our friends roll initiative versus two very different enemies. Weapons and armor were banned from the tasting though, so it makes for some comical combat.
7 misses. 8 misses.
How isn't that one?
Misses. So misses.
16 to hit?
16 misses. 18 hits.
Yeah!
But our friends prevail. Graven and Orba defeat the gnolls, giving Winston enough time to escape. The two are left looking at their mess, debating what to do next.
We need to find who is Winston working with. Is he in league with Molifair? Why is he down here? Why is he...
I don't know, but do you think we're going to get in trouble? We've been down here for a while. There's 4 dead gnolls. There's wine all over the floor.
Yeah.
And you and I are near death.
Alright, let's...
And you're still mute.
I know, let's, I guess, try to act casual. Let's go back up.
Mid-combat, the animated armor strangely turns inert, just as Safira hears footsteps approach their room.
I'm gonna open the door.
Okay, you open the door. And standing there, tiefling man. I see you've met my pet. And that's where we're gonna end for this.
Oh my god! No! Wait!
What's a tiefling man?
Can Graven and Orba ever just act casual? Will Iris offer Beezaura a coveted chess piece in exchange for her service? What other sick heckles does Armand have up his sleeve? Find out next time on Tabletop Notch.